Hey, everybody, and welcome to the...
I'm sorry. Okay.
All right.
You just do whatever you want to do.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to The Void, a show dedicated to filling the void between being an employee and becoming self-employed. Most people refer to starting their own company as taking the leap, as if they're blindly jumping off a cliff and into the unknown. This show is here to help you understand that it doesn't have to be that way. As always, if you like what you're hearing on the show, please do us a favor and help share The Void with somebody else who might be wanting to start their own company. We saw an opportunity to help others understand that self-employment is well within your reach, and just as our businesses have grown organically and by word of mouth, we want this show to grow the same way. So if you see somebody asking questions about starting their own service-based business, don't be a hoe and share the show.
Oh my God. Damn, your intro's too long. What is the matter with you?
That's actually it. I robbed that line from Andy Frisella. He uses that line a lot.
Do you ever feel like the show is off the rails before we start?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one was, and I'm gonna make a request to Austin to go ahead and start it at the first time where I tried, and David interrupted me with "fuck." So
I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. It'll be on the recording. We'll hear this on Thursday.
What do I tell you all the time when you get in trouble or about to get in trouble? Deny.
Yeah.
No, it didn't happen. Nothing happened.
It's a river in Egypt. Denial.
It's fine.
Yeah. So
how was your day today? What'd you do?
Hold on.
Hold on. What?
Last show, we made...
What did we make?
We made a petition to get some damn Google review or some Spotify reviews.
Oh, okay. That's right.
We're at 24 now.
Oh, we got a few.
We got like 2. I think the last show we got like 22.
Oh, chicken fuckers.
Still fucking miserable. So, if you're listening to this on Spotify, leave us a damn 5-star review. If this is your first episode,
maybe they just don't think it's worth...
You can listen for a little bit longer and then leave the 5-star review.
Maybe they're just like, you know what? I can't go against my morals and give them a 5-star because I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Who knows?
Just set your morals aside for 5 seconds and give us 5-star.
Yeah. And if you're on iTunes, give us a good review there too.
How was your... I'm going to go back to what I said 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
How was your day today, Mitch?
My day was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Mine was too. It sucked.
So,
I did plumbing, and plumbing's for
I did
losers.
pick up a $40,000 check today, so that was kind of cool. So
did it go doing?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
We'll find that out.
Hadn't
it didn't
bounced.
feel rubbery.
But you're not sure.
You just never know.
Yeah. You just never know.
Yeah.
I gave Austin a check last week, and I was like, yeah.
You better go straight to the bank.
Yeah. It's fine.
We had a customer last
It'll
week.
be fine.
Write us like a $12,000 check. And he leans over to our service technician, and he's like, take this straight to the bank and deposit it now. Otherwise, my wife will spend all the money that I just moved into this account. And I'm like, got it.
10-4.
Yeah.
Understood, sir.
He brings it straight over to the house that night. He's like, hands it to Danielle. He's like, apparently you're supposed to deposit this like right away.
Yeah. The guy said, my wife's crazy.
Pro tip, if a customer ever hands you a big check and says, deposit this right away,
deposit it.
Trust them.
Yeah.
Do it.
Especially if it's a man.
Yeah.
Is that sexist?
No.
If it's the truth, it's not.
It's not.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
It's not
I didn't know where the line was on that.
Yeah. Truth is the undefeated champion of the world. What about you, Dave? How was your day?
My day sucked. It was awful.
Yeah.
Got up at 5. That sucks.
Why so late?
Why so late? When was the last time you were punched in the mouth? Do you remember?
About a year ago.
Was it a year ago?
Yeah.
Was it Danielle?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You got me. You got me.
Dan's video on the Trade Winds group.
Yeah.
Dan hung out with me and my wife all weekend, and he's like, and for the record, Mitch's wife is just as crazy as David says she is.
I know. I laughed. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but it was good.
It was pretty funny.
She is. She's nuts.
Yeah.
No, my day was okay. I mean, it was all right. It was.
Hey, what did we get to do right before this show?
Oh, Trade Wind sponsorship.
It's not sponsorship.
What did I say?
Scholarship.
You can't get off the mic. I can't hear you.
Scholarship.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Barely hear you. Yeah, that's better.
Oh, you want me up here?
Yeah, we gave our first Trade Winds scholarship out. And it wasn't, listen, it's only $250
And a full 1 year access to Trade Winds.
and a full 1 year access. And we're hoping that every year we can up it and
Yeah.
up the number of people that we get in there. So you know what? It does make me proud because he went to Mitch and I's alma mater,
Yeah.
Blue Springs South High School. So
Blue Springs.
Oh, he
Our
went to Blue
district.
Springs.
Yeah, he went to Blue Springs.
We
He's
went
in
to
our
South.
district.
Yeah.
But and it's so Dave and I were prepared to hand out 6 scholarships through Trade Winds this year. And unfortunately, by the time we got Trade Winds like up and rolling and officially like legal and everything else to where we were in the position to offer the scholarship, school had like 9 days left.
Yeah.
And we didn't let that deter us. We didn't use that as an excuse to say, oh, well, we'll just do it next year. We still went to, like, you found the people, and I met with them, and had 2 meetings back-to-back in one day, and next thing we know, we were able to slide out a little flyer offering the scholarship, and we had, like, I think about the time the students received the flyer, school was already over for the seniors.
It was, they had like 1 day left or 2 days left.
So...
And if you remember anything about high school, with 3 weeks left, you were out. Well, like if you were about to graduate, you're like, fuck everything else.
We had 1 applicant. Hey, if you like what you're hearing on The Void and you want even more info, we just started a mentorship program specifically for trades professionals to start their business or to get their business to an incredibly healthy position. So if you'd like more info, click on the link in the description of this show. And it's probably the most deserving kid you could ever imagine. And I'm not just saying that because he was the only one to pick from.
No, he's a good kid.
He's a damn good kid.
Yeah.
So,
good
and
kid.
He's built like a brick shit house too. Like,
dude, he's tough.
He's cut.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you're framing. I mean, you're in sheetrocking. Yeah. You're tough.
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Nice kid.
Especially off the heels of Sunday, I got to watch Mike Rowe speak in person. So,
well, you're just all over the place on this episode, aren't you?
I'm all over everywhere. But, you know, Mike Rowe's big on the Mike Rowe Works Foundation scholarships and everything else. So, like, fresh off, like, as he's talking about his scholarship program, I'm like, I'm about to get one out on Tuesday.
I'm about to get my first one, man.
This is fucking cool.
Yeah. I love it.
So,
I love it. It does make me feel good.
Yeah.
Like, and even we told Zach, so one of our Trade Winds members last night, we told him, we're like, hey, thanks for being a member because we took some of your money and we gave it to
what your money goes for.
We gave it to a kid who needs to buy tools so that he can be in the trades.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, dude, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So hopefully next year, we can donate some serious money.
Yeah.
Serious
Get a
money.
lot of kids in it.
I hope so. I really hope so. Make a real difference. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I had a pretty badass weekend.
Are we going to talk about your trip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to Dallas this weekend. For those that don't know, I'm a part of a group called Apex, and they have their big annual event. It's down in Frisco, Texas, at the Dallas Stars Stadium, where the Dallas Stars hockey team plays. And it's a 2.5-day event. Tons of speakers, tons of highfalutin people. Pretty awesome. And last year when I went, I bought a $5,000 ticket to go, and that ticket was front row, center seat, backstage pass, like all access, everything. I figured if I'm going all in, and I want to be able to talk to every single speaker backstage, and I want to do all this, right? So I did it, and it's had a big impact on me. And anyway, this year I flipped it around 180 degrees, bought the cheapest seats I could in the far back of the stadium. Like, you couldn't get much farther away from this stage than where we were. But doing it that way, I brought a total of 7 people. So that was pretty cool to have a big group down there and be able to share the impact that a thing like that can have with 7 people instead of just one person. So got to chat with Master P. Got to chat with
Master P.
The Master P. Yeah.
He's a member of Apex, or did he speak?
He spoke.
Okay.
Yep.
I was like, what the fuck?
Mike Rowe was there. Wes Watson. Bobby Castro. Some of these names, if you're not, I mean, you'd have to look up some of these guys. Like Bobby Castro is a certified billionaire. Wes Watson is he's done prison time for some felonies. Spent the entire time in prison, like getting his head straight and getting his mindset right. He's 5 years out of prison, and he's currently bringing in about $2.5 million a month.
What the fuck does he do?
He is you're gonna laugh at the term, but he's basically like a life coach. He's basically like somebody who
is paying him that much money to be a life coach?
Well, nobody's paying $2.5 million.
So what's he life coaching 27,000 people?
Could be, yeah. I mean, his program starts at like $250 a month or something.
What's he doing? I mean, is he like one-on-one with all of them?
No, God, no. It's
okay,
all like group
he started a
stuff
company that.
Yeah.
Okay, that he has life coaches that work for him.
Yeah,
and then they coach people.
And you can, for a couple of grand a month, you can hire him, and he'll be your own personal life coach and all that stuff. So
hey, for everyone listening out there, if you want me to come down and coach you for a month, $5,000, I'm in. I mean, I will literally come to your house.
You're cheap. $5,000 for a whole month.
Fuck yeah! I ain't doing nothing. I'm doing this, and I got nothing going on.
Yeah,
I'll do it. I mean, I can yell at you and tell you that you're stupid. $5,000.
So, it was pretty funny. We drove the Ford Lightning down there. So you got to stop and charge on the way.
Did you make it this time?
Made it this time.
No stupid ass fucking side tours and.
That's on the way home. We'll get to that.
Okay.
But on the drive down there,
I'm very interested.
There's two routes to get down there. One has a very durable, reliable charging network. The other route is fucking sketchy. And so on the way down there,
such an idiot.
We drove the reliable one. On the way home, the other route with the sketchy charging network is an hour shorter. And so everyone was like, just go the other route and we'll run the risk. Well, it bit us. So, but
I don't.
It didn't bite us. It didn't bite us too bad. So on the way down there, we stop at the first charging station, and for anybody who knows anything about electric cars, when you stop at the chargers, the power that the charger puts out determines how fast you recharge. And so if you get a good charger, you can recharge like really, really fast.
Yeah, if you have an 80 amp, you're rolling. If you have a 100 amp, you're rolling. If you have a 20 amp...
These are DC, so they're rated in kilowatts.
Whatever.
And so you're looking for like 150 kilowatts or more. And they may advertise like up to 350 kilowatts, and then it puts out like 40.
Yeah.
And it'll take you 8 hours to recharge at 40. So...
Wait a second. Sidebar. You have AC voltage here at the house.
Uh-huh.
But it's a DC charger. Is there an inverter?
No, the charger at my house is an AC charger.
Okay, so the truck will take either or.
Yes.
So why on the way would they be like off of AC power? Why would they be DC chargers?
They charge faster.
DC charges faster than AC. So they have an inverter.
Yeah.
So like the little Tesla thing, when you pull up to it, there's an inverter in there that's taking AC power, making it DC power to convert to make your car charge faster?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so like your Tesla superchargers or your standard superchargers, they're all DC. Like your fast chargers are all DC chargers, DC fast charging.
Okay.
So
I wonder how many amps does it take to run a 15,000 kilowatt? Is it 15,000 or 1,500?
You'd be looking like so.
So like 25,000 kilowatts, I think is like 120 amps.
Yeah,
like a 25,000 kilowatt generator on the side of your house will run your house.
So like my charger at my house on AC power, it's set to 48 amps. It's on a 60 amp breaker, but it'll run 48 amps. And at 48 amps, it's charging at a rate that would be...
See, now I'm testing his brain power.
Yeah.
Asking too many high-tech questions.
You're probably charging it about 8 kilowatts an hour.
8 kilowatts an hour.
Somewhere around there. So.
Okay.
I don't know what, I mean, your amperage is 48 amps on that, but that's AC. So
yeah.
I don't venture to figure out the whole charging thing. I just know what works and what doesn't. And so, and it's not like I can be like, let's up the amperage on this thing. Like you just got to go to a different charger if that one sucks.
Okay, so back to the story.
So we get to the first charger, fast charge, easy peasy, whoop, on the way, no big deal. Like What
do you do when you're sitting there?
You go grab something to eat, you go take a leak.
You got to eat every 3 hours?
Well,
I'm just curious.
I eat every 3 hours. I don't know about you.
No, I don't eat a lot. I mean, I eat.
But
it's not like I can go into the bar and drink and be like, oh, no, on to the next charger. That doesn't work.
Sure it does.
It's illegal as shit. But I mean, I guess you could do it.
Charger says 34 minutes. Barkeep, you better get fast.
I need 4 shots and a Coors.
Yeah, and 1 to go. So the first charger goes off quick. The second one is we get to the bank of chargers. One of them's out of commission. There's like a technician working on it. One of them was being super slow, so I move over to the next one, and it's working pretty well. But it was going to take a little bit longer. The battery was lower, needed to charge up a little bit higher. So we had like 40 minutes on that one. And
This is the problem. This is the problem with power.
Well, I meant to get a haircut before I went, and I didn't have time. So I Google real quick, like hair places near me, and find one. And it's like right behind the Walmart that we were charging at. So, in the alley behind the Walmart is not necessarily the best place to get a haircut.
No, it's a good place to get raped.
So I go there, and it's like a hairstylist place in the strip center. And
take your headphones off. Have you had it refixed?
No, I had to fix it myself.
Okay.
So I get there, and the lady's like, well, we typically do women's hair, but we can probably do yours. And I'm like,
probably.
Oh, boy. At this point, I don't really have a choice, right? I wanted to get a haircut.
It's not like you can go anywhere.
I'm like, how bad can you fuck this up? I mean,
you just
number 2 guard on the sides, finger length on top, blend it well, done, right?
The blend is what fucks them up.
Well, usually, any other barber I go to, I tell them, leave the sideburns. I'll take care of those when I shave. Because they want to trim my sideburns all the way up to the top of my ears. And I like them coming down about halfway down my ears.
I don't understand. Why do they do that?
I don't know.
When was the last time you looked at a guy and he had the 1960s flat to the ear?
Yeah, I don't know. So I tell them, leave them, and I'll adjust them when I shave, right? This bitch didn't even put the clippers on my sideburns. And I didn't even know it until I get to the hotel and I look in the mirror and I'm like, she didn't even touch I had these bushy sideburns. I'm like, oh my God.
Did you take a picture?
So I had like this little like personal hair groomer. Like it's like it holds like 1 AAA battery. It's like a lipstick canister.
You mean pube shaver?
No, it's for like getting nose hair and ears hairs.
Okay.
So I am in the bathroom mirror of the hotel with my comb, like holding that hair out and trying to trim it. And Danielle comes in. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
"What the fuck is the matter with you?"
This lady didn't even cut my sideburns at all. She's like, "Whoa, that's bad." I'm like, oh my God. Just leave the sideburns. I'll get them later.
Another Mitch story.
Way too
my
literal.
God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So we get down there. It was kind of hectic.
I'm sorry.
She did not understand the assignment.
Yeah, she did not understood the assignment.
I have to ask you, where were you?
This was in Moore, Oklahoma, where the big giant tornado came through.
Yeah, enough said.
Yeah.
It's podunk.
Yeah, kind of.
It's podunk.
It ain't podunk until you're stuck in Muskogee, Oklahoma, looking for a charger. That's we'll get to that later.
Did the tornado just suck away all the clippers that they needed for your sideburns?
Common sense, maybe? I don't know.
Bad dad joke.
Yeah, but tink. So the first night we were down there, Thursday night, I had planned and organized a big tip dinner. So a buddy of mine he works at Apex. He and I have been trying to get together for dinner forever. The last time I was down there, we couldn't make it happen. I said, next time I'm down here, we're going to dinner, damn it. And he's like, deal, we're going to make it happen no matter what. And he even threw out the idea. He's like, let's do one of those big tip things where we tip $100. And then I added on to it. I'm like, cool, we'll invite people and like
make it a group.
Create a big tip, right? And I even texted him, like I could probably find it. I'm like, wouldn't it be crazy if we got like 50 people together and we ended up tipping like $5,000? Like that'd be kind of cool. And he's like, yeah, that would be. Haha, crazy. Well,
he meant to say, haha, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's what he meant.
Well, you have to be careful when you're planning these things because what happens is you get 150 people that promise they're going to come, but then don't show up, right?
Prepay.
So then you look like an idiot to the restaurant and everything else.
Prepay.
So I wanted to make sure this event, like this dinner, went off, without a hitch. And so I turned on a feature on our credit card processor that allowed us to email invoices out without our CRM involved, to where I could just straight from our credit card processor email them an invoice. We set it all up at Fogo de Chao in Frisco, Texas. and basically their meal was $70 after tax. It comes to about 75 or 76 bucks, and then I rounded it up another $4 to $80 to cover credit card processing fees. And we sold tickets for $180. So that covered their meal, all their drinks, not alcohol, did not cover alcohol, everything else, meal, all their other beverages they wanted aside from alcohol, and their $100 tip. And so then I made a couple of posts in the groups for all this big event that we're down there. And next thing I know, ding, request. I was having all these people email me in. Well, about a day after I set all this up, we got notified that we got that big giant waterline job at work, and it put me in the field for 2.5 weeks straight.
Yeah.
So my wife ended up having to handle all of these requests. Every single one of these requests, my wife ended up having to handle.
You could always just ask me to help you.
I know.
Okay.
But I mean,
I think Mitch has a pride problem with me.
She's running the
he
CRM.
knows that I'll help him, and he's like, no, I can't, because then it makes me look weak.
Well, she's in the credit card processor every day and everything else, so it's easy for her to do.
And she doesn't really do a whole lot anyway.
So next thing I know, I'm going to leave that one alone. Next thing I know, we're like 3 days into this, and we already have 50 people that are requested to go.
Let me ask you, when you got to 50, were you thinking, I don't even know if we can get that many people in there?
Well, no, I cleared it with the I set it up with Fogo de Chao, told them we were trying to get a group of 50, and they were like, we can totally accommodate that. We can accommodate a lot more than that if you needed.
Oh, so they have a big private room.
And I told them, and I told them what we were wanting to do and everything else. And
did you tell them about the tip?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's no fun.
Well, they don't tell the wait staff ahead of time.
I bet they do.
My specific orders to them were, we're wanting to tip the wait staff a big tip, but we want you to pick the wait staff that is going to serve us. We don't want the best. We want the most deserving. You make that call. You know your wait staff. But the ones who deserve it the most, we want that wait staff. And they had 2.5 weeks to prepare for this.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like we sprung this on them in a day,
Yeah, it gives them plenty of time.
And so as soon as we hit 50, I texted the guy and I'm like, we just hit 50 already. Can we do 75?
Did you ask him, what's the max?
Yeah, well, I didn't. Right then I didn't. I'm like, can we do 75? Like, no way we're going to hit 75. 3 days later. We just hit 75. Can we stretch to 100? He's like, yeah, we got you. 3 or 4 days later. We just hit 100. At this point, it just keeps climbing and it's not slowing down. What's the max we can handle? And he said, the max we can handle without you buying out the entire restaurant is 150 people. And I'm like, okay. So I didn't really announce that the cap was 150 because I didn't think it was going to go there. Sure as shit. The day before the event, we were still having people buy tickets, and we got all the way up to 146.
Damn.
And I'm like, holy shit.
We got to cap this bitch.
So I ended up, and plus Danielle and I were running out of time because people were still wanting tickets, and we're driving down. Danielle's in the back seat of the truck sending out invoices on her hotspot from the laptop.
Good.
And people are paying them.
Wow.
So we get all the way down there. We had a whole guest list printed up and everything of all the people that bought tickets because there's thousands of people coming to this big event, and I didn't want a whole bunch of people showing up at this restaurant, me having to pay for their meal on my dime, right? So I was hoping.
Yeah, you're panicked.
Yeah. So I never asked the restaurant this. I just assumed I'd be able to walk in there and hand them a guest list and just say, if they're on this list, they can come in. If they're not on the list, they won't. And Fogo de Chao was like, yeah, for a private party, we can't do that. And they let me down graciously. It wasn't like they were being jerks about it or anything else.
They didn't have any extra staff for it.
They didn't have the staff. It kind of puts them in a funny position and, all of this kind of stuff.
And, let's be honest. If you had probably said, hey, we're going to need a host for our party, they'd have been like, oh.
Maybe.
Yeah, we can bring another girl in.
Totally.
It's going to cost this much money. You pay that. It's fine.
Yeah.
But,
So we're just rolling with it. And so by the time they came and told me that, there were already 20 or 25 people in the room. And I'm like, well, shit, we've already pretty much lost control.
Let me ask you, were you walking around hey, what's your name? Checking them off?
I thought about it.
You should have.
I thought about it. But I just kind of let it ride. And I about had a panic attack while the room's just filling up and filling up and filling up and filling up. And I'm like, oh, my God. And there got to be so many people in the room. I'm like, how how are they going to count this many people? And one of the guys that went down with us he's the GM of a restaurant here in town, and he's like, they'll count. They'll have 3 or 4 people count, and they'll make sure their counts are right.
Oh yeah, they're counting.
And so finally we get to the point where meals being served and things are happening and everything else. And so I go to the GM and I'm like panic. I'm like, how many people showed up? You know,
like what's this? Excuse me, sir.
I'm afraid he's going to tell me like 180 people, and now I'm paying for 40 people's meals at $80 a pop.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
which, let's be honest, I mean, it's not awful, but it's not good.
It's like, really not good.
It's not good. Hey, you know, when I say
that's a lot. It's a lot of money.
You see that GIF where it's like
$1,000.
He's like sweating, but it's
80 times 40.
I was wondering if he's gonna do good math, and he did. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
That's $3,200.
I know what the answer is.
Anyway, Austin, what were you saying? The GIF where he's
that
sweating?
makes me good.
Yeah,
man.
it's like really they're pouring water on his forehead, but it's like cropped in, so it looks like sweat's just running off his forehead.
Yeah, that was me. Danielle's like, you should take a gummy. I'm like, that's too late for that.
It's over.
Yeah. So
it's over.
We had 142 people show up. Before the dinner started, I did make an announcement that this was a prepaid dinner. So if you have wound up in this room and you have not paid for this dinner ahead of time, please get a hold of me. And I had one gentleman come up and say, we got an invite to this. We have not paid. How do I pay? And he says, I'm here with 2 people, so I need 2 tickets or whatever. And so I gave him the rundown on it. He was totally cool with it. And I said, in the next day or 2, we'll send you an invoice. And he gave me the info and everything, and we're good. So we had a couple extra people tip that couldn't make it. We had some people that knew they weren't going to make it.
Just wanted to add to the tip.
They just wanted to add to the tip.
Nice.
We had a couple of people where their flights got canceled or delayed, and they weren't going to make it. And so they asked for a refund, but hold the tip. Like, you can keep the tip. Can I just have my meal refund back? And we were totally cool with that. So,
well, and you would have been cool with the whole refund.
Well, yeah, we would have been cool with whatever.
Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah.
So we ended up tipping the wait staff $14,600.
So let me ask you this: so how many wait staff was there that were helping your group only?
Probably 10 or 11.
10 or 11.
Yeah, somebody did the math, and
so they all got like $800 or $1,000.
No, they all got about $1,400.
Oh, okay, nice.
Somewhere around there.
Did they know?
No, they did not know ahead of time.
Nice.
So, and I didn't take a single video of this thing. I didn't take a photo of it.
You didn't take a fucking one video?
Not one video,
Stop.
not one photo, nothing.
Okay,
now,
stop. First off, you didn't do it for the publicity or for the video. But dude, get your shit together. You got to take one fucking video.
I didn't need to. So I got on the microphone to kind of round things down, and
I wondered where this was going because I saw that.
Yeah.
You can see the panic on Mitch's face.
So I got on the microphone to kind of wind things down, and I'm looking at the wait staff and everything as they're coming in. I told the general manager, I'm like, I don't know how you want to handle this. If you want to bring them in or whatever, we can present the tip to them. And so he brings them in, and they're all kind of standing in a line. And then I turn around, and I will say this. It's always kind of a risk when you're planning on giving a big tip and you don't know if the service is going to be good yet. And then you're kind of like, well, what if the service sucks? Right?
You've committed.
I know. You've already committed, but then it just kind of sucks that you're giving a big tip on shitty service, right? This service was the best service I have ever had in a party of that size.
First off, the GM knew. So he was like, okay, look, this is they got money. This is what we're going to do.
Yep.
And then second, it's like, I mean, they know.
They got to know.
You know, they know.
I know. My water glass never got below half full.
There you go.
Like, you never ran out of a drink. I mean, they handled it so well. So we make the announcement to the wait staff and everything else, and everyone starts cheering. But I turn around to talk to the group of people, and it was like
group of people that had donated money.
The diners.
Okay.
And
not the wait staff, the diners.
142 people, all like 142 people, and I bet 141 of them had their cell phones out recording things.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, good God. Like, I turn around, it's just a wall of cameras. I'm like,
hence the
shit.
second panic attack. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I meant to say, I forgot. Shit.
He just falls over.
Yeah, just faints.
So, but everything.
So how did the wait staff take it? They take it good?
They loved it. I mean, they You could tell on their expressions they were like,
Grateful.
they weren't in the room long enough to like really let it soak in.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were like, oh my gosh, like that's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's pretty neat.
Hey, we talk about it a lot on the show. Giving back to your community is one thing.
Right.
Giving back to someone else's community where you're just being a part of their lives for a small moment makes a huge impression on how they think about other people, how they judge other people, how they think about the apex group that you're in, how they think about Mitch. I mean, I'm sure maybe people looked up, Mitch Smedley Plumbing. Just, you may not get a direct benefit from that, which wasn't the point, obviously.
Right.
But just the way that you carry yourself and the way that it reflects on you, says a lot about your character and the character of the people in that group, the people that were there. And that just, in a world right now that's just a complete shit show, like you need those small glimmers of hope and those small glimmers of, there are still good people in the world. And that's, it's a really small thing in the grand scheme of like our country, the world, whatever, but it makes a big difference in people's lives.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and ultimately, like
good for you, bud.
The purpose of the dinner was to get a certain caliber of people together in the same room in an environment where they can talk and exchange contact information and learn about what each other does and add value to each other.
Right.
And so you can't do that if your barrier to entry is McDonald's. You're not getting that caliber of person. You just about spit your beer out.
Damn right I did. I didn't know you were going to drop a McDonald's reference on me.
So that's why, like, we wanted to go with a nicer place that was a little bit more expensive because it helps make sure that the caliber of people showing up are of good caliber people.
Well, it makes sure that when people know that they're going to spend money, then they see the value in what's happening. Yeah. Because they're not just, I'm going to go see, it's only $10. Yeah. No, they want to see because it's $100.
Yeah. Your avatar.
Yeah. Yeah. It's your client avatar.
Yeah. You want to know that people are legit or that people are really caring.
And we had some legit people in the room for sure. I mean, like.
Why didn't I get invited?
You did.
Yeah.
I don't remember
getting I don't like going to that stuff.
That's not true.
That's exactly what you said.
First off, that is not what I fucking said. I said, dude, I'm busy as shit. I don't know what you want me to do. I can't go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of talked about it too in the van a while back about how, like, as you kind of progress and get older and you kind of build wealth, is like the restaurants you want to go to is like, you don't want to, if you're going on a date night or going out to eat, like, you want to go to a place where the barrier to entry is like you're paying at least $40 for a meal or something like that.
Yeah, like if you're going on a date night, the whole purpose of date night, if you have kids, is to like get away from your kids for a little bit, right? So you don't want to go to a restaurant where there's fucking kids running around screaming all over the place. Mm-hmm. So you go to a restaurant that's above that barrier to entry, right? Mm-hmm. It's not Olive Garden. You're going to...
And it's not that you don't... There's no... Like, you don't think you're better than those people or better than that restaurant. It's that you just want a break. And you want to be in a classy environment where you can rest and relax and be adults.
Right. Mm-hmm. And there's no shame in it, right?
No,
like, if you feel bad for doing it, that's all on you.
Mm-hmm. So 100%.
It's no different than the people that drive exotic cars. Like, they don't feel shame in that. And the only people that feel shame in it are the ones that are, like, envious of it and trying to say, like, you could have fed so many mouths with that money or whatever. It's like, I don't see you selling your Ford Taurus to feed the homeless.
Well, the thing is, too, they come back with like, I did feed mouths with this. It cost a lot of money.
Yeah. How many employees at the factory got a paycheck because I bought this, right?
That's a whole other story, but both of you are 100% right.
I don't see you selling a Ford Taurus to feed the homeless.
That's damn right. Oh, my God. I'm glad it was good. So what was the trip back?
So trip back, we took that sketchy route, and the big is so there's two big issues with the trip back. For one, the chargers are spaced oddly apart.
So for anyone that's new, Dallas, we live in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So Kansas City to Dallas, Dallas to Kansas City.
Yep. And so on the trip there, the chargers are like 50 miles apart, so you can go, like, they're fairly routine, right?
Yeah.
On the trip back, they're so sparse that you're hitting it takes
because you took the other route.
Yeah, and it takes 2 recharges to get back if the chargers are spaced correctly.
Minimum.
Well, you hit the first recharger. You hit the first charger like early in your trip, Like your battery is not down near 20%. You're like 40% battery, and you're already recharging.
But because it's the only good one for a while.
But if you don't do that one, you're going to run out before you get to the next one.
So how long? So when you went to the good one, how long was that?
So that was the first one. The first one was reliable, and we got recharged, and it was fine.
Okay.
So the next one, actually, I take that back. Yeah. The first one took me to Francis Energy Chargers, and I have tried to connect to 11 Francis Energy Chargers.
No go?
And I have only found 2 of them that actually work. So we're batting 2 out of 11, which means there's like a 73% chance of their chargers not working, right?
So what you're telling me is we need to invest in some chargers.
Something.
Stations.
Yeah.
In Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma.
Arkansas and Oklahoma.
So like when it doesn't work, you call the tech support people and they try to like start it remotely and all this stuff. And I call the tech support. This is a business topic here. I call tech support. There's 3 chargers there. I call tech support and they're like, yeah, we're showing issues with all 3 of them over the last couple of days here. And I'm like, oh, that's good. I mean, why don't you just put an out of order sign on the things? It's got a big digital display screen. You can make it say whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm sure you could just type it in and
they're like, well, have you tried working with them? Yeah. You think I just called customer support without trying them first?
Yeah, first off, I kicked this one 5 times and now I've been hit with a sledgehammer for 20 minutes and then I decided to call you.
So
help me out.
The last time this happened, I couldn't get any of them to work. There were 6 of them. And the guy threatened to hang up on me because I used the F word. And
I've been hung up like at least 20 times on for saying fuck.
Yeah. So this was my last trip to Dallas. The guy goes,
oh shit, dude.
The guy's like, when you call in, you have to like you have to like prompt all of your name, your address, your account number, all this stuff, right? And the number on the charger, and like they all got these numbers on them.
You can't just pay like at the thing to charge?
No, that's the bullshit part about it. They make you get an account and then an app, and then you have to like use your app.
So for every different charger you use, you got to have a different app. So if there's like 8 chargers on the way,
yeah.
First off,
it's fucking bullshit.
First off, it's not bullshit, but people wonder why fucking electric cars don't work. Right there. Yeah. Because now that I know that, I'm out.
Well,
fuck that.
Here's the bullshit part about it. They do have a credit card swiper on the front of them. But then it'll work. And that was where this conversation started. Was like, have you downloaded our app? I shouldn't have to fucking download an app. It's got a credit card swiper on the front of it.
But you're like, yes, I did.
Yeah. Austin, you're about ready to spill your drink. Oh, and there it goes.
Fucking Austin, dude.
So,
like, he does so good for like 3/4 of the show, and he's just a train wreck
and
at
then
the
he's
end.
Out. So, I call this tech support guy, and I've already given all my information on the prompts, right?
Yeah.
So then the tech support guy's asking for all my information again, and I'm like, I've already given you all this information. I know. I just have to confirm it. It's process. What's your name again? What's your address? My address doesn't fucking matter. I'm in Oklahoma at one of your chargers and it's not working. Sir, if you don't stop cussing, then I'm going to have to hang up this phone. I told him, I'm like,
fuck off.
No, I said, look, dude, we're both adults here. If you can't, I didn't even cuss at you. I used the F word in conversation. I didn't even call you a fucker or anything like that. I didn't even say fuck you. I said one of these fucking chargers. So if you can't handle a dude cussing, then you're in the wrong fucking job, because literally the only people call you are stranded at a charger that's not working.
Yeah, and they're pissed.
Yeah. So if this is your way to get out of providing service, have at it, but I'll be calling right back.
Click.
No. Then he was like, he was able to remote start one of the chargers and actually get it to work for me.
Oh, shit.
So
excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir. He was in California.
That was my first bad experience with the Francis Energy chargers. The next one, we were at a bank of 3. None of them worked. The guy says none of them work. So thankfully, 5 miles down the road, there's another one. That one worked and worked well. And so we were able to move on. But anytime you call in, they always follow up with emails and everything else, right? So yesterday, I get an email from Francis Energy. Sorry that you ran into issues with our charger. Can you elaborate on the concern? It looks like we're showing that you had a problem with these 3 chargers, saying none of them were working.
Yeah, none of your shit works.
And I says, yeah, none of your shit works. That was like, out of 11 chargers, I've only found 2 that work. Well, our records are showing that all 3 of those chargers are working working perfectly. And I'm like, then why did the person on the other end of customer service agree with me that none of them are working?
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, technology is just making people dumber and lazier, and no one wants to do anything.
Piss poor customer service is what it is.
Yeah.
It's almost like
technology, let's be honest. The technology is not there yet. Like, people want it to be there, and I want it to be there. And when the nuclear fusion comes out where you can have one at your house, everyone's going to have an electric car. It's going to be great. It's going to be fucking awesome. We're not there, people.
Yeah.
Stop buying Ford Lightnings. The only people that own one that I know are idiots. They keep trying to drive to Dallas in one, and then they
I'll be going back in a couple weeks.
They get straight into fucking Oklahoma. They don't know where they're at. They're fucking having to just lose their shit.
You ready for a story from the field, Dave?
Oh, yes, I am. So usually we don't talk about these, but Jorge, Mr. Diaz, and I say this all the time on the show, Diaz has a special place in my heart. He was the first guy that asked us a legit question about starting his own business, and I think he is probably the first guy that started his own business, with a little bit of our help.
Yeah.
So Mr. Diaz has a great spot in my heart. But he sent us a story from the field.
He sent us a story from the field.
Let's hear it. I haven't listened to it, so
here we go.
Let me have it.
So I'm going to read this fresh off. I haven't even read this whole thing yet. I've just kind of glanced over it.
And for the record, he sent this to us a while ago. We just haven't got to it yet.
Yeah, we just haven't got to it yet.
So here it is.
So he says, this is from Jorge Diaz. He says, about 15 years ago, I was running a Craigslist ad to do side work. I got a call for a job in the CBD of New Orleans. CBD, that must be a how do they divide New Orleans up? Parishes. That must be the name of a parish.
Yeah, I'm not
in
sure.
Louisiana.
We should have asked him before.
Yeah. So one day after my day job, I head over to look at this job. It was on a prominent street in New Orleans, but from the outside you couldn't really look in. I met with the owner who let me in. The first floor, I'm looking around, and it's a bunch of little rooms with beaded curtains and massage tables. So I was curious, but I kept my cool. We go to the second floor, and the owner was wanting to add some jacuzzi tubs. I walk into a room that's literally a huge room full of pillows on the ground. He could see my curiosity, and the owner says, as you can tell, we run a quote-unquote alternative club here.
I love where this is.
And I'm like, that's cool. We go to the third floor to look at 2 water heaters that need work, and it's a full-on red room. Whips, chains, red leather sawhorse to bend women over, a Sabian.
They had a Sabian, a live, just sitting in the middle?
Yeah. So
Austin doesn't know what that is.
At this point, I explained to him that because of my normal job, this work would have to be performed at night. And he's like, ha, 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 not happening. That's my operating hours. It gets better. So I get home and I'm telling my wife about this club, and we start investigating it and Googling it. It was called the Jasmine Club. They had a MySpace page, and in the top 8 friends of their MySpace page...
MySpace.
Yeah, keep in mind, this was 15 years ago. In the top 8 friends of their MySpace page was a coworker of his new girlfriend. A girlfriend of his coworker.
This is great.
They were skeptical of the girlfriend because she had told them that she sells lingerie, which they thought was a little eerie. We told him about it, and he ended up staying with her. They had 3 kids, which one of them wound up not being his. So there you go.
Oh,
that is your story from the fields, brought to you by Field Pulse.
Oh man, you know what? I don't know how Field Pulse feels about the stories from the field. It was their idea.
Oh, they're cool with it.
I mean,
they're totally cool with it.
Diaz,
yeah,
walking around a weird old. I mean, what would that be called?
I'm gonna text him and ask for the address.
Hey,
when in New Orleans, right?
What are we doing? Hey, the meetup, Tradewinds meetup, Jorge Diaz.
What's the name of this problem? The Jasmine Club?
New Orleans. I doubt it's still there. 15 years. Those things can only be open for 5 years at a time, probably.
If it were still there, can you imagine how crusty it is? Ugh, gross.
That's messed up.
Yeah. So you mentioned trade wins on the quarterly or on the meetup. So we.
Oh man, trade wins, man.
For those that don't know, if you're new to listening to the show, Dave and I started a mentorship program called Trade Wins, where we help people that have either recently started their service-based business or they're wanting to start their service-based business. And you can partner up with us, and we will help mentor you through that whole process and get your business up and running into a very healthy level.
Let's just talk about it for a second. We've got, so how long has it been? A month? It's been 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months, I think.
Two or 2.5 months.
Yep.
And we have 8 members.
Yep.
As of right now, everyone's loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving to get to know the guys and, give them our expertise and see them grow. I mean, literally, you can see from week to week or month to month their progression.
Well, shit, we had one guy sign up that was working as a W-2 job at the gas company. Man. And then a couple of weeks after he signs up, he walks away from his W-2 job and starts his own business.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's great. Like the first call you have, some of the guys look, really nervous. They're not, they're not sure. They're kind of lost. They're, they don't know what's going on. I mean, some of the guys have a real good grasp. And then, after 2 or 3 calls, they're into it. Hey, how do I get to this level? I did that stuff. I'm getting more calls. Do I get another truck? Do I keep rolling in this area? They are doing great.
Yeah.
They're doing great. And to be honest, I didn't know, I knew we had good information to give guys and gals, and I just, I didn't know exactly how it would play out and, how I'd feel about, giving them information or if they'd take it and they'd run with it. Dude, it's been great.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a whole another aspect of my own life where I'm rooting for them all the time. I'm, trying to see how they're doing. I'm friends with all of them on Facebook now, and they're all posting, and I see what they're doing, and they're all taking off like rocket ships. Yeah. I love it. It's great.
There's a lot of power in being able to ask the right people questions and having confidence in the answer, right?
Right.
And so in this day and age, it's very difficult to get really good, solid advice because
you
can ask it on a Facebook group, and when you ask it on that Facebook group, literally half the people are going to troll you with some bullshit answer. The other half of the people might be giving you a good answer, but you have no way to vet them to know if their answer is legit or not.
Yeah, it's more confusing sometimes than it is helpful.
Yeah. And so, a group like this is really, really good to be able to bounce ideas off of and everything else and roll with it. So if anybody here would like a little bit more info on Trade Wins, you can find us at tradewinsconsulting.com. And that Trade Wins is trade wins, like winning in the trades.
Yeah, trade, WINS,
yes,
consulting.com.
Yeah.
Or
it's
you
kind
can
of a play on words of the overseas trading trade wins.
Yeah, but no D.
No D.
No D. Or you can just message us directly. You can message The Void. You can message Mitch.
David didn't want the D.
Mitch did. That's not good. That's not good for Mitch. Mitch, you know what Mitch loves more than anything is getting people to blow up his phone at night when he's trying to go to sleep because he loves social media. He's like, please someone contact me.
Yeah.
So you can just ask Mitch Smedley.
Yeah, find me on Facebook Messenger.
Any question you want, or just send it, guys. Seriously, send it to The Void.
Heads up, my phone's on vibrate and silent all the time, so you ain't messing with my sleep.
And we don't know where that phone is, but
right here.
Yeah, not when you're sleeping. Anyways, if you have questions, we have answers.
Yep.
And the guys that have joined are loving it. I mean, it's been better than I thought it was going to be personally. We're going to start having our first meetup. We're hoping is the middle of August.
Yep.
So
when we do that meetup, that's kind of why we're talking about this.
Yeah.
The Trade Wins meetups are going to be open to the public.
Yeah, and anybody can go.
We're putting the final details together on everything to get dates and locations and all of that kind of stuff. And when we have that, we'll definitely share it on the podcast. But any of the listeners to this show can attend this thing too. There will be a cost to it. It's very small. It's basically the whole purpose of the meetup is just to break even on the cost. It's not for David and I to make money. So, if you're interested if you want to meet us or if you're interested about Trade Wins or anything else, you guys can come to these meetups that we have, and you can get a little taste of Trade Wins. You can hang out with some other trades-based business owners that are kicking ass in their deals and roll from there.
Yeah,
so.
we've been having a lot of questions. I'm not going to like dive into it, but we've been having a lot of questions about price books too. And we're going to have
Yep.
something on that coming up. Just a little teaser.
Yep.
We're going to have I don't know how to say it, a price book special, a price book, like a way for you to get Mitch's price book, but not Mitch's price. I don't know how to say it.
No, so basically I've taken my price book and I've made it in 2 different versions. And so you're going to have a light version and then the full version. But you're not getting my price book. You're getting my price book, but all of the information has been opened up for you to edit on to your liking. So you can put your company logos in it. You can put your company name in it. You can put your pricing in it, and all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to have those for sale fairly soon.
We're working on it still.
And they're going to be at a price that is insanely reasonable. A lot of people will sell price books for thousands of dollars.
No, it's going to be cheap.
And ours will be under $1,000.
It's cheap, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's what the fuck it is. It's going to be cheap, and I don't like it.
So.
But Mitch he's like, I like to help the people. But, whatever.
Yeah.
So good for him, I guess.
Good kudos, right?
Good for Mitch.
When I kick the bucket, there'll be a good seat waiting for me somewhere.
Somewhere.
I don't know where yet. It's either going to be a hot seat or a good seat. We're going to find out where.
Nah, it'll be a good seat.
All right, topic 3.
What do you want to talk about, man?
Fuck your excuses. All right, so you've newly started your company and you're trying to pinch pennies. However, you don't realize the biggest thing that's hurting you right now is not gathering all of your information into one spot and making it super efficient for you to use. So the answer is Field Pulse. It gets you off of paper tickets. It gets you off of all of that crazy office work at the end of the day and reconciling all that stuff. And it lets you organize everything with ease. It puts it all into the computer. It actually puts it all into the cloud. So it's not even putting it on your computer. And it lets you organize your customers. It lets you organize all of your service calls. Heck, it'll even route you to your service call. And the best part is, even after all of that, you'll probably realize about a 100% growth in your business just in the first year of using Field Pulse. So if you'd like to check out Field Pulse and see what great looks like, click on the link in the description of this show. So,
I'm not an excuse maker. I'm okay with this.
Where this stems from, one of the guys that I took down to Dallas with this weekend with me is one of my plumbers. And good, solid dude. His name's Spencer. He's a great guy.
Has a huge manly beard.
Yeah, he's got an epic beard.
He has an epic beard and bald head. Like if you saw him like at a bar, you'd be like, man, this guy's fucked up.
Yeah, don't fuck with that guy.
He's actually super nice.
Yep. And so he's new into all of this stuff. The first time you're hanging around this many really successful people, it can be a little intimidating. Like, on the drive down, he asked me, he's like, so what do these people talk about? Like, do they talk about how big their next yacht's going to be or how fast their next car is going to be? And I'm like, no, you're really going to be surprised. Like, they spend most of their time talking about how they can build their business bigger and how they can take better care of their people and how they can employ more people because they take such good care of them. And, like, it's really all about like giving back, and if you give back enough and do it right, you get rewarded in return.
And people have this misnomer about people that are successful, or people that are in politics, or people that are on the student council, or people that are in a position of just a little bit of power. Like, they automatically think in their subconscious, I think, that those people are better than me. They're doing more than me. They're greater than me. They've done. That's not true. Right. They are regular people.
They are absolutely 100% regular, everyday people.
And they've just taken a slightly different path than you. You could be way smarter than them. You could be worth way more money than them. You just don't know. But for some reason, people like to put other people on a pedestal if they feel like they're in a position of power or in a position of worth, or
right.
and that's just not the case, and that really holds people back.
Yeah.
And makes people self-conscious and makes them not feel like they're worthy to be in the same room, and that's just not the case.
Yeah,
it's just not the truth.
It's their own limiting beliefs manifesting in the form of an opinion about somebody else is really what it is.
Yeah, it is 100%.
And so I can tell Spencer the whole drive down that these people are really genuine people and everything else, but until you see it for yourself, it's kind of a different story. So I mean, his first exposure to it was at this big $14,000 tip dinner, and he got to talk with everybody and everything else, and it helps that I'm kind of I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm kind of popular in this group.
Sure, you're not.
Well, I'm kind of popular in the group, right? Definitely not because I'm the most successful, because I'm far from that. But
it's because you put yourself out there.
I put myself out
like
there in the
Mitch
group
is
every day.
not, and I'm not bashing you. I love you. Me and you are great friends. Mitch is not like, so like, and I am patting myself on the back here. When I walk into a room and I don't know anyone, I'm immediately sociable.
Right.
Like I can just get along with a lot of different people. Mitch is very analytical. He's very serious. He's very like, and that doesn't lend himself to like just being the center of the party,
right?
Quote unquote. But when you're putting yourself out there on Facebook and you're a big part of the group, like you are, you're always promoting yourself 24/7 all the time. It like elevates you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so because of that, like at this big tip dinner, people were coming up to me all night long, thanking me for putting the dinner together. I got to introduce them to myself and my wife and Spencer and
and you earned that, and you should be getting the recognition for it.
Right. And so Spencer got to meet a lot of people in this room on that very first night before the event even started. And you could see him. He got quiet and he started changing a little bit, right?
Yeah. It takes a second.
So then we're at the first day of the event, and they're selling shirts in the back of the event. And the shirts, they're black shirts, white lettering on them, and it just says FYE. And Spencer leans over and he asks, "What does FYE stand for?" And by now, he's gotten to meet a lot of people in the event, right? And there's been times where I'm telling him, like, that guy you just talked to that you said was super cool, yeah, that's his Lambo out front. No fucking way, Yeah. And so he got to realize that these guys that are really, really successful, they're everyday people. Right. They just chose a different path. And so he asked what FYE stands for. And I gave him the long answer. I gave him the thorough answer. But ultimately, FYE stands for fuck your excuses. And basically, what it means is all of those times where you are using where you're using an excuse, or you're creating an excuse not to achieve the results that you originally wanted to achieve, that's where FYE comes in, right? If you said, I'm going to do $100,000 in sales this month, and you're 3 days into the month and you've done $3,000. Well, maybe it just wasn't going to happen this month. No, fuck your excuses.
Get after it.
Get after it. Come around it, right?
Yeah. What can I do to improve my situation right now?
Right.
Right now.
Like, real fucking talk on that subject. Last month, we were, I don't know, we were 8 or 9 days into last month and staring at the worst month in our company's history for the last 14 months. Like, last month started out looking like absolute dog shit. We finished with the best month in our company's history. The most revenue we have ever had in our company's history last month. But it didn't start out that way, right?
Yeah.
We stuck with it. We stayed true to...
Well, you stayed true to your processes.
Yep.
And then something came up.
And
those processes and the advertising and the way you were doing business allowed for that big job to come up.
Yep.
And for you to outperform.
Opportunity met a little bit of preparation that month, and we caught a little, luck is where preparation meets opportunity.
That's right.
So
that's right.
You could say we caught a lucky break, but we wouldn't have caught that if we weren't prepared and we didn't recognize the opportunity.
And that's the law of averages too. I mean, so your averages all the way up till that month were on pace, right? Yeah. And so you that allows you to trust your process when you get to that month. Mm-hmm. And after 8 or 9 days, you've been trusting that process and you see, oh, we're in trouble. But what did you do? You kept trusting your process, right? And that process paid off.
Yep.
Like instantly the light switch came on and like, hey, guess what? The averages came around and we were the same as we were.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we weren't the same. We did a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that's just, that's part of, what we're teaching here.
So back to the fuck your excuses thing. I was telling, Spencer, I'm like, a lot of people say they want to start a diet and they go hard and heavy for 2 or 3 days. And then that's about the time where it gets hard. And about the time where it gets hard is where you let all the excuses slip into your head. And when they slip into your head, you let them. And now you're falling off the rails on your diet, right? Or say you want to quit smoking and you go 2 or 3 days in and now it starts to get hard and you have that difficult, confrontation or that fight with your wife where you would typically go grab a cigarette, or you go out for a drink with the guys where you would typically have that cigarette where it's hard, and you fall back off the wagon and you go ahead and have that cigarette. So fuck your excuses means there is no fucking excuse. Just get it done.
Well, an
right?
excuse is just an excuse for you to be lax.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, you're just lying to yourself.
Yep.
You're like, oh, well, that excuse is just, it's permitting me to do something else. And that's by definition what an excuse is.
Yeah.
That's not who you are. That's not what your processes are. That's not the goals that you've set in place. It's just, all it is, an excuse is, what do they say? A lie that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
So that you can satisfy yourself in that moment.
Yep.
And it's just, I mean, you will not get anywhere if that's all you're doing is making excuses for yourself.
Yeah.
You're literally lying to yourself every time.
Yeah. And I ended it with, like, let's say you committed to getting up and walking 3 miles every morning at 6 a.m. Well, let's say morning 4 or 5, you're tired, and you're like, well, I've earned the day to sleep in. That's an excuse, right? If you made the commitment to get up every day and walk 3 miles, you need to honor that commitment, right? And ultimately, that's where self-esteem comes from. Self-esteem and self-worth comes from keeping the promises that you make to yourself. So if you make the promise to yourself for every day, for 30 days to get up and walk 3 miles, and you slip on that promise, your self-esteem goes down. If you make that promise and you stay with it and you do it every day for 30 days, then your self-esteem goes up. Your self-esteem is literally built upon micro promises that you make and kept to yourself.
It's built on lies that you didn't tell yourself.
Yes.
Right?
There you go. There you go.
It's just, if you lie to yourself, you take your self-esteem down.
Yep.
If you tell yourself you're going to do something and you do it, your self-esteem goes up.
Yeah.
It's literally, it's weird. As you get older, you understand more about how you can affect your own self-esteem, your own path, the way you think about yourself. And it's just literally, don't lie to yourself and stay true to yourself. If you stay true to yourself, you will have more self-esteem.
Yep.
It's so simple and it sounds so stupid, but it's just so true.
Yeah. And so later that afternoon, towards the end of that first day, Spencer leans over, and keep in mind, Spencer wears a 3X.
He's a big dude.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
And so he leans over to me and he says, I think I'm going to buy one of those FYE shirts, but I'm going to buy it in an XL.
Good for him.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, you
Good
get
for
it.
him.
You get it.
You should have been like, I'll pay for your fucking gym membership, bro.
Nah, that's all on him. Like that's
true. That would make it easy for him.
It's the discipline. It's everything else, right? So,
good for him. I hope he gets
sure
there.
enough, next morning.
Did he buy it?
Yeah, next morning, here he is standing there holding an FYE shirt.
Was he wearing it? Like,
well, God,
this will fit next in 3 months.
So he said he's going to hang it on his door until it fits.
Good for him.
So it's fucking awesome. But ultimately, the whole FYE thing is it rings true to everybody. All those people that I saw on stage this last weekend, they're no different than anybody else. It's just they basically said, fuck your excuses. Fuck their own excuses, right? If I'm going to go out there and sell 5 jobs this week, I mean, I'm just using this as a parameter, but if I say I'm going to sell 5 jobs this week and it comes to Thursday and I've only sold 2, well, fuck it. I'm going to work as long as I need to get 5 sold this week. And if that means I got to work late on Thursday night and late on Friday night and late all day Saturday, and I didn't even plan on working Saturday to get the 5 sold, then that's what I got to do to keep that promise that I made to myself that I was going to sell 5 jobs this week. When I started our company, I made a promise to myself that I was going to pay off our loan that I took from myself. I was going to pay that off in 3 months. And I worked tirelessly until I did it. And I didn't take nights off. I didn't take weekends off. No, I don't do that now. That was a momentary thing, right? I didn't build my company off the fact that it could only survive if I work every night and every weekend.
To death. Yeah.
But I wanted to pay off that debt as fast as possible. I knew I could do it in 3 months, so I did.
Yeah,
and it worked.
And it's really simple to say, and what we're talking about here. It is very difficult to make yourself a promise and then keep it. Right?
Yeah.
Like people say things all the time and then break them. That's just kind of the norm.
Yep.
But what makes you different and what makes you successful is the fact that you've made that promise to yourself or set that goal for yourself and then you stick to it.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to do. I'm not going to like sugarcoat, oh, it's just easy, make yourself, say you're going to do this and then stick to it. No, it takes discipline. It takes pre-thought. It takes hours of work. It takes, especially as you get older in business, it takes extreme dedication for you to reach those big goals that you've set for yourself.
Well, and where I see a lot of people go wrong is, let's say you're like, if you're lacking self-confidence, you know it. Everybody, if you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself, you're aware of it.
And you usually make a lot of promises to yourself that you don't keep.
That, or you're just simply aware that you're that way, right?
Yeah.
So start with micro promises.
Oh, some small stuff.
Don't start with, I'm going to get up every day at 6 a.m. for the next year and go walking.
Say, I'm going to do it once a week.
I'm going to get up 5 days this week, right? And I'm not saying give yourself an out. I'm just saying, let's be realistic. 5 of the 7 days this week, you're going to get up and do whatever it is you promised you're going to do.
Yeah.
And then when you do the 5, great. Your self-esteem is now better than it was 7 days prior because you made a promise to yourself and you kept that promise, right?
Yeah.
The only way this doesn't work is if you're making bullshit promises to yourself. If you're making promises to yourself that's like, I'm going to sleep in for 7 days straight, well, you're just fucking lazy at that point. But if you you got to set yourself up for success. You can't make promises to yourself that even you are questioning if you can do.
Yeah, if you think you can't do it, don't let me say this differently. You have to set realistic goals and expectations.
Well,
like they can't be so over the top that you can't keep them when you make them.
I'm going to challenge you on that.
Okay, let's see what you got.
The promise that you make is realistic. The goal needs to be unrealistic. In other words, realistic goals and expectations have set a standard for mediocrity in the world. Oh, it's a realistic goal. I'm going to get up 2 days this week and work out. That's not realistic. That's fucking easy. Know what I mean?
That's not a realistic goal. That's an easy goal.
Well, I guess what I'm talking about is the difference between like a promise to yourself and a goal. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. And this is where it hurts their self-esteem. They set a goal and lie to themselves thinking it's a promise. And 2 totally different things.
Yeah.
A promise is unwavering, is something you will do, no doubts, no matter what. Well, a goal is much higher than that.
Yeah.
Okay? A promise is I will make the playoffs. A goal is I will win the Super Bowl. If the moment you promise to yourself that I will win the Super Bowl, you're setting yourself up for defeat because there's a lot of situations there that are out of your control.
Yeah, I think a promise is higher than a goal. Like like if you promise yourself you're going to win the Super Bowl and then it doesn't happen, like you broke your own promise, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And if your goal is to win the Super Bowl, that's more realistic.
No. I mean, only 1 in 32 teams can win the Super Bowl.
I know, but that's your goal. Every team has the goal of winning the Super Bowl. But if you promise yourself you're going to win the Super Bowl, anything less than that is a complete failure.
Well, and I guess that's what I'm saying. And that's where most people go wrong. If they make the promise to themselves that they're going to get up 7 days a week this morning and go walking or go running or whatever, that's kind of a hard thing to fill.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? If you've never done it before, that's kind of hard. So the goal is 7. The promise is 5. Okay? So now, that way, when you hit your 5...
That makes more sense.
Yeah, when you hit your 5, you've kept your promise to yourself. I was a little short of goal. I'm going to try harder next week. Next week, I'm going to try to get all 7. But next week, the promise is still 5. The goal is 7.
Yeah.
Right? So...
You know what? You're probably right in that because, like, when I set a goal, it's basically a promise to myself that I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So,
and you're right because I usually overextend myself thinking, oh, I'm going to get here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes it's unobtainable.
When I'm running my monthly budgets for the plumbing company, like I have a very exacting formula to anticipate how much revenue we should bring in. And so that's the promise. The goal is obviously more than that. The promise is based off of all of the known parameters and everything else.
Yeah.
And we don't always hit it. Most of the time we do. But the promise is there. The goal is way above that. now the gym is automatic for me. Like I don't go a day without missing my workout. It simply does not happen. I make it every time without fail.
Me too.
Yeah, your workout's drinking a beer.
A good quote I came across, it says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems," from Atomic Habits.
Yep.
And that's just like, if your goal is to make it to the gym, but you don't have in your systems to be like, okay, I got to start the gym membership. I got to find a ride there. I got to do this. So you don't set yourself up with everything you need for your goals. It's like, or you may reach your goal, but if you don't have like prominent and like coherent systems and like strong enough systems, it's like you'll reach your goal maybe 1 week, but then fall the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so like how that comes from or how that comes about is everyone can have goals. I can have goals to be a millionaire one day, but if my habits don't support that goal, I'm never going to be there. Right. So the habits are what you're trying to create. Habits are built off of micro promises to yourself. I used to have to like struggle to get to the gym every day. I used to have to like, oh, I don't even want to go. I'm going and I don't want to go. Now, and this ebbs and flows, but now it's one of those things where it's like, what am I cutting out? Like, let's say over this weekend, my alarm didn't go off in time. And I've got 2 different alarms. Monday through Friday is one time. Saturday, Sunday is a different time. I lost track of the days of the week this weekend. And Saturday rolls around, and I'm expecting my alarm to go off at 4:45 in the morning because to me it's a work day because we're at this conference. And my alarm didn't go off till 7. This conference starts at 9.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, fucking hey. Like, I still found a way. I didn't shower that morning. But I still went and got my workout in because I got my workout. I didn't shower and I didn't eat breakfast. But like, I'm unwavering. I will work out every day. So
I will shower every day. That's my fucking promise to myself.
Well, a story like that, I spent some time with this guy who is like really driven business guy, like kind of like on all the time. And I was riding with him home from church. Like we were both in our dress clothes. And he said he needed to stop because he had like a business to take care of. He like installed satellites. So he gets up on this roof and he's like in dress slacks and dress shirts. And he's like, I got to install this satellite,
And he just did it.
Yeah. So there wasn't this excuse of like, well, I got to, I'm going to have to shower. And like, what if I cut my dress pants? And like, no, it's just like.
He's like, no, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Like, this is my goal. This is what I've committed to.
Yeah.
Good
so
for
I watched
him.
him. I'm just like, just. That's
Austin's
my
all
first.
nice, but he's really thinking, man, this motherfucker is crazy.
Yes. Well, I mean, he kind of had like a reputation, like he's always like he was like probably the most like work ethic guy I've ever seen in my life. It's just that was my first experience with someone like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, gotta stop real quick. He runs off, and the next thing I see, he's on top of this guy's roof, like installing a satellite in his dress clothes.
Dude, when you get around a highly disciplined individual, it can be a little intimidating at first. But once you start prying into it a little bit and you start looking at their level, like very rarely are highly disciplined individuals unsuccessful. And so I can guarantee you all the guys at this big event, all the guys driving their Lambos and Rolls Royces out front, they're never missing their workout. They're never missing their meal plan. Most of these guys don't even drink alcohol. Like, they're constantly in the pursuit of how do I improve my life? How do I improve my life? And not to say these guys had a drinking problem or anything before, but like when everything is going perfect, but you're in the constant pursuit of how can I improve it even more? Now they're cutting out alcohol. And to be a social drinker that maybe only drinks 2 or 3 drinks a week, like that's how vicious their pursuit of improvement is. They don't have a drinking problem. Drinking is not hurting them in one bit, but they're looking to say, how can I improve it even more?
Yeah.
Let's shave this out.
Yeah. And people do that. They will shave stuff out, they'll bring stuff in.
Yeah.
They'll shave stuff out, they'll bring stuff in.
Yep.
I'm cutting my workout to 3 days a week. Nope, that was too much. Now I'm at 4.
Yep.
And because I need the rest for the other 3 days because I'm over 50. Or
Who knows?
just people, highly successful people do that all the time. I'm going to use myself as an example here. Like, so before I was on my own, like I hate getting up early. Mitch knows this about me. I hate it. I was up early for work every day and I didn't miss work. I would be driving down to Warrensburg. It didn't matter. Even though I wasn't even though I didn't have my own business at the time, I mean, I was part of one, but it wasn't 100% on my shoulders. I still was up every day.
Right.
Every day. Highly disciplined people, even when they're not on their own or extremely successful, still stick to what they have to do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Guys that work for the railroad that don't want to own their own company but are up at 4 every day and they've been there 25 years, those are highly disciplined people because they have done it for a long period of time and been able to keep that edge for that period of time.
Yeah.
They just don't have the desire to like reach the super heights.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean they're not highly disciplined people. But guess what? They are successful people.
Yeah.
They are successful in their little world.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And that works perfectly for them. So success is a relative term. There's not a monetary figure attached to success. There's not a certain benchmark to success.
100%.
Success is the dedication from one person to constantly improve themselves. That's ultimately the definition of success. So
yeah, and discipline is the number one rule to success.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to see that without discipline.
Right. No matter what it is, you will not see success without discipline.
Yeah.
We're like on an hour 20.
Yeah,
so,
no, we better wrap it up. So
I mean, I don't want to tell you that you can't talk anymore.
Yeah.
I know you love it.
So by now, if you've forgotten, open up your Spotify app or your iTunes app and leave us a review, damn it. So you can do it right now, like literally before the end of the show. You can leave us a review. And to finish the show how we started the show, I'm going to borrow that same line from Andy Frisella again and say, don't be a hoe, share the show.
You know what? I'm not going to insult all of you. Thank you for listening.
Until next week, guys, we'll see you later.
See ya.